I'm just gonna call it Thor's hammer. Hi, Auburn Mystique here, and I'm going to be giving you 10 epic moments from Avengers Endgame. Now this goes without saying, but this video has spoilers up the wazoo, so if you haven't had a chance to see Avengers Endgame, I would highly suggest you turning off this video. But thank you so much for at least clicking on it, and before you go, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I hope you come back for the next video. So I'm going to give you a few seconds just to run away, turn the video off. It's nice knowing you. Have you left yet? Do you think it's safe? Okay. Yeah, I think it's safe. Let's do this. Now, there were tons of epic moments from Avengers Endgame. The entire movie was just epic in its own way, so it was very hard to pick just 10. Number one, this moment doesn't get talked about a lot, and there's a lot of talk of like, who is the real hero of this movie? Like, who was the one that really saved the day? Now, this character doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and I know you know who I'm talking about, so on the count of 3, let's both say it together, okay? 1, 2, 3. The Rat! Did you say it with me? Did you get it? Come on, y'all. The Rat was the most important character in this movie. Without the Rat setting Scott free from the quantum realm, none of the movie would have happened. They wouldn't have the time heist. They wouldn't have gotten the stones back. They wouldn't have snapped everybody who'd been snapped back into existence. They would have still been in the dreary world of having half of all living things gone. Come on, y'all. The Rat is the real hero of this movie. I think it's time that the Rat gets the recognition that they deserve for saving the day. Next epic moment I want to discuss is the reveal of Professor Hulk. So for the past few movies since Ragnarok, he's been on this journey of discovering who he is and who he wants to be. And Ragnarok, he was Hulk mostly the entire time. In Infinity War, he was Bruce Banner mostly the entire time. And now in this one, he took the brains, he took the brawn, and he morphed them together into this really awesome character. And he was fully embracing who he was, and it was just a really nice moment, and I think it was really well done. And the diner scene was just really hilarious. It felt really natural, and in a movie that was so emotional the entire time and action-packed, it's just, I love those little moments of humor and comic relief that happen in these movies, because that's where you can really see the actors' chemistry, and you can really see Mark Ruffalo's journey into finding this character. So number 3, the time heist brought us back to 2012 in New York City with the Battle of New York, which is the Avengers. And the Avengers is my favorite movie of all of the MCU. It's what brought me into this world of the MCU, and so going back there really brought everything full circle for me, and I just love that so much. It really touched my heart and my soul. But the best part of that whole Avengers sequence was the Captain America versus Captain America battle. I wasn't expecting that to happen, and there's not much more to say about that moment other than it was just a dream I didn't know that I had. Number 4 is Thor had to go back to the times of Thor the Dark World and get the ether out of Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, so that they could have the Reality Stone. And he had this amazing moment where he got to have a conversation with his mom and get closure there. And in that conversation with his mom was telling him that he needs to find out who he is from within. You know, over the course from Ragnarok, Infinity War, and until now, Thor has been stripped of everything that he thought made him Thor. And he got PTSD and alcoholism, and he was really working through that throughout this entire movie, and having that conversation with his mom really helped with that. And then when they had to get back to their present time and bring back the Reality Stone, he held out his arm and his hammer came back to him. And he yells, "I'm still worthy." And I think that's an epic moment, because that is what his journey up until this point has been, is him trying to find himself from within and find who he is again. And to feel worthy no matter what he has, no matter what has happened to him, he is still worthy of being the person that he's always wanted to be. And that I completely broke down during that moment, because it was just so beautiful. It was a beautiful journey of discovery, and it really hit close to home. And I'm really glad he was able to have that moment, because take everything away, the brawn, the lightning, the power, and he's still him. No matter what, he's still him, because he's still worthy. And it's just beautiful. Number 5 is the beginning of the final battle against 2014 Thanos. If you recall, 2014 Thanos came back to the present, and he destroyed the entire Avengers facility, and it was time to fight him once and for all. But all that was left at that moment was Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, and they joined up and they walked towards him to fight. And it reminded me of Avengers the first, when Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America were first meeting, and they were fighting each other because they didn't know what else to do. And it's such a beautiful full circle moment to get to Endgame and have the three of them fighting together. And my little Avengers loving heart just really, really loved that homage to Avengers. So number 6, so if you recall from Age of Ultron all the way back in 2015, there was that hilarious scene after the big party where all the Avengers were trying to see if they could wield Thor's hammer. When it got to Captain America, he went to lift it up, and it kind of lifted it up a little bit, and you could see that Thor was a little uncomfortable by that and curious to see if it actually happened. But then Captain America was like, "I'm just kidding." And so Thor kind of felt like it happened, and we kind of felt like it happened, but I'm not sure if Steve really thought that it happened. And then years later, this year in 2019 in Endgame, during the big heat of the big battle, Captain America picks up Thor's hammer and wields it because he is worthy too. Oh my God, the whole crowd was just screaming and so excited about everything that was going on in that moment, because they started that in 2015 and then the payoff happened years later in 2019. And so that was a moment that we've been waiting for a very long time, that they've been building towards. And when Thor yelled, "I knew it," it was a beautiful moment. You know, people write off Age of Ultron as not one of the best of the series, but it's important. 21 movies up until this point, and they brought back those little moments and paid them off. And I, for one, am grateful for it, and I think everybody should at least give them props for that. Number 7 is when we all thought all hope was lost. Thor was down. Iron Man was down. Captain America was kind of down. His shield was almost in half. He slowly stands up, and it's just him and Thanos, and I was scared that was going to be his last moments. And then in the comms, you hear Sam Wilson, Falcon, go, "On your left," and I tear up every time I think about it. And he says, "On your left," and then all of a sudden these portals open, and everybody who'd been snapped comes back. And Sorry. It was just such a beautiful moment. And to pay homage to that beautiful friendship from Winter Soldier. Again, those little moments that are in each of these movies, they get their payoffs and they come back. And I don't know, I think it's beautiful. And it was just so epic to see everybody that you thought was gone, everybody that these characters thought was gone, come back to save the day and to help Cap defeat Thanos. And then to top it all off, he finally got to say, Avengers Assemble! Oh, man. So number 8, there's this amazing moment of female empowerment when every single female Avenger in the battle comes together in one epic shot so that they can help Captain Marvel keep the Infinity Stones away from Thanos. And I really hope that that is setting up for the A-Force, the all-female Avenger movie. But it was bittersweet. Because, as you know, Black Widow sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone earlier in the movie. So we didn't have our original female Avenger there. But I think in a way she was there, though. Because without her, they all wouldn't have been there. So number 9, when Thanos put on the Infinity Gauntlet one last time and he was ready to snap, we see Iron Man with all the stones coming through his right hand. And he goes, I am Iron Man. And then he snaps. And then, of course, we all know that he didn't make it through that. So this movie is just really emotional, you guys. But him saying, I am Iron Man, just again, brought everything full circle. Because that was his first really big epic line from Iron Man. It's what made us believe in this franchise, and without it we wouldn't be here where we are now. And I think that was the perfect way to end Tony's story. Much as it was devastating to see it happen, to see him pass away, that's what had to happen, I feel. And I think that was the only way to close out the Infinity Saga chapter of the MCU, personally. Number 10 is Steve going back in time and staying there and having the life that he's always wanted. And that has been my theory for a while. I was not ready to see Captain America die. And so this was the only explanation that I could feel would close out his character, but also have him stay alive. And this is what I've always wanted for him. Because he's never been happy being out of his time. And he's always loved Peggy, and he's always just wondered what if. And now he didn't have to. Because he got to go back in time and be there. And I think, my theory is that he went back after Peggy had already founded S.H.I.E.L.D. and that he was always her husband. Always the father of her kids. Because she never said her husband's name, and we never saw any photos of her husband. So I think it was always Captain America, and he had to just keep out of the way so that everything in the timeline could happen the way that they happened. And yeah, there's some timey-wimey stuff going on in there, but I choose to not think about it and just remember, just focus on the beauty of him getting his time back and then coming back to that moment and being Old Man Steve. Side note, does anybody think that Old Man Steve looks like Clint Eastwood? He gives Falcon the shield. I'm really excited to see what he does as Captain America, because I think that was a wonderful choice, because it's either going to be him or Bucky wielding the shield and becoming Captain America next, and I always thought that they were going to choose Bucky, but I'm really glad that they chose Falcon to continue Cap's legacy. If I left out your favorite moment from Endgame, please put that in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Avengers Assemble! Woo!